So good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. We are starting the Traffic Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd. And we have a lot of things in our agenda, so we'll call meeting to order at 5:04. First item in our agenda is approval of last meeting minutes.
It wasn't here.
Yeah,
I submitted the
Yep.
minutes, motion to approve meeting minutes.
make a motion. Second?
Thank you. Thank you for coming. No, you can sit at the table.
That's okay.
Um,
I told you earlier.
We will just go around the room while we are here and just name, so I can include here on our agenda for our next, not agenda, but the minutes for our next meeting. Everyone who is part of the commission and who's here. Jack, would you like to start, please? And then we'll just go around the.
Jack
Okay.
Calabro, Milton. Traffic light manager.
Chris Madden, Fire Chief.
Marion Driscoll, Citizen Representative.
Marina Fernandez, DPW Director.
Chris Ernst, Milton Police.
Steve Geister, citizen.
Joseph Hurt, the time on.
Liz Mandy, Planning Director.
Thank you. First item, next item is the Randolph Ave Road Diet Pilot Program. We do have that in two agenda items. We'll start with the continued discussion on the monitoring of Spafford, Buckingham, Martin, Clifton Road. Does the commission want to start the discussion, or do we want to open up for any the residents first and then discussion in our group?
We can open it up, I think. Yeah, you go with that, dude.
All right.
We can open it up.
So, do you have a representative from your group that would like to speak?
Hi,
Hi.
yes, there are a few of us,
If you-
and on Zoom as well,
If, can I ask you to speak on behalf? And then do you mind please, putting your name and address? And you can come up to the table so everybody can see you on the aisle. Thank you.
Thank you, good evening, my name is Amy Morrison, I live at 58 Clifton Road.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us and for giving us some time on the agenda again this evening. Since we last met with the Traffic Commission, we've had a couple of other meetings, as you know. I just wanted to provide, kind of an update from our perspective. We unfortunately have not noticed an improvement in the volume of traffic on our streets during the peak hours. It starts 3:30 to about 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Some days, are lighter than others, obviously. With the signal changes that I know were made, I'm forgetting the date of those changes off the top of my head. I believe it was after the November 18th select board meeting. Those signal changes have not had an impact on the volume. We have not seen any improvement based on that. I would report that we're seeing an increase in truck traffic, which we historically have not seen. Large trucks cutting through. We still have drivers, we're experiencing that aggression, beeping when someone pulls over to drop off a child at their home. We still are having drivers, we're seeing them pulling up onto the sidewalk to pass someone who may be pulled over, which is obviously concerning now that it's darker earlier, people are out walking. Just, continues to feel unsafe. for the residents, and you know, I don't know if anyone else from our group would like to share anything.
I'm happy to share. My name's Brittany. I'm 76 Clifton.
I'm sorry, do you mind coming in, because so folks,
You want me
what's
to-
the address again?
76 Clifton? I would just say, from our perspective, the maps and the ways seem to be directing people specifically up to Clifton Road. We've had multiple people text us saying, oh, it's my GPS is sending me up to Clifton Road, which is odd because like it's never done that before. And you can see the people in their cars, you know, both driving. That's how people drive now. They use their apps. Unfortunately, and Clifton is the most direct route up to Highland. And so that's kind of where I know once, MassDOT gets involved, they would be able to switch the app if, say we were to get, a sign or something, no left turn or do not enter for certain hours, but, that would be another point that I'd like to make.
Thank you.
Is there a time that it's worse?
3 to 6 seems to be what I notice. I work from home, so I'm
3 to 6
3 to 6:30, yeah.
So is it worse from Highland, Reedsville, or
People coming up from Reedsdale,
see people?
and everyone taking a left.
So there are people who take a right, up off of Reedsdale, up Clifton Road, but we also, and we've all taken videos of this, we've observed it. Curious to see what the Milton Police have observed, but they come from Pleasant Street and come straight through the intersection in the straight, the straight through lane. I'm assuming because they can't take a left onto Randolph Ave because the traffic is such that backed up that they can't do that. So they come straight off of Pleasant Street and then cut left up Clifton. At times with the light cycles, there'll be surges and then it quiets down for 2 or 3 minutes and there's another surge. So we've seen a lot of cars coming from that direction as well.
So the light should, the one in front of St. was.
Yes, so it's like they're coming from East Milton, can't get onto Randolph Ave and coming just around through our street. And we have multiple pictures of people's GPSs directing them that way. So we know that that's.
So
Great
Jack,
point.
so Mass DOT revisited those light timings, added more time in hopes of getting more folks onto Randolph Ave,
Okay,
alleviating that backup, which was sending folks onto the side roads. That happened on November 22nd. The police put in a counter, an observer on the road on November 23. So we have counts over a 30-day period, not consecutive 30-day periods. They started October 13th,
Yeah, sounds October 6th,
October 6th,
and then, yeah.
a 10-day period, then October 13th
To the 23rd.
to the 23rd, another 10-day period.
Mm.
And then now we have our latest, which is after that.
Yeah.
So basically that will be provided to the committee to review. But basically the traffic count went from first set of counts was an average daily traffic of
476.
476 vehicles going through that road a day. That was directly very close to after the implementation of the Randolph Ave diet.
Because that was October.
all going up the hill.
Yeah, yes, that was.
So,
They know that they go left and.
you didn't take directions, you just counted. It was a total of not necessarily all going up the hill,
That would be
have-
going up the hill.
up the hill.
Yes, that's the way it was facing, so it would just.
It would just be
it would
that,
just-
sorry.
Yeah, right,
That's
you're
a
right.
good,
Yeah, it's not taking them both ways, it's just taking them going from Reedsdale up to Highland.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was.
Then the
yeah.
next 10-day period, it went up to 576 average daily traffic,
573, yeah,
573.
so that's what, about 100 on average.
And
Per day.
then,
And then the most recent one, which was from November 13th to the 23rd, was 400 a day.
after the timing we
Yeah,
we
the
can't
implementation of
for
the-
certain say that the timing is what,
Mm.
um,
But the times that it's showing the most frequency are right on point with what you guys are saying, that 3 to 6 time frame in there.
My name's Frances Boyle, I'm at 52 Clifton Road, and I've been at that address for 20 years. I've run through this town for 20 years. And most nights I can beat the traffic from Randolph at Randolph and Center home. Since the road diet has gone into place this evening, it's not even backed up to the parking lot of St. Elizabeth's. And one car, who happened to be a Mark Crane, got through the light tonight. And they 15 cars came through, taking a right, coming up Randolph, or right onto Reedsdale, and 15 cars turned left on Clifton. So whatever timing, it now has improved.
It's the first.
And it has improved traveling Reedsdale to Clifton. When the road diet first went into place, these cars were getting through the light, Reedsdale to Center at the intersection. That timing has improved. We're coming up Randolph. You know, it's you can't get the volume through from Randolph to Chickataway. And I would like to thank the police. I did run into a couple of officers out there one night trying to slow traffic. And I would also offer that we may have seen a decrease in the number of cars associated with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's right there.
yeah,
Yeah, right to 3 to 6, yeah.
it's perfect.
It's
timing.
perfect, just exactly what you're saying.
The data that we will share with your group and we'll share with this, it does show the exact same timing as you are noticing.
So I think that we were missing a few data points as well, when the sign went down, we did call, to report that the battery died. And that was, November 21st, according to our notes. I mean, you had said that maybe it was the 23rd. I don't know, it seemed like there might be a discrepancy
Yeah.
in the data there.
Possibly then, I can,
So just,
let me look and see.
we did know, we have a log of, the calls that we've been making on our street that we all, take notes and collaborate on. So we can. One of our neighbors is raising his hand as well, on the Zoom, so Travis. So, and I'd like to
Let's say that, so I
ask,
don't understand. Are you sure?
those, the report, that's an average number of cars per day, so that's including weekends and all hours of the day, you know, can we narrow, obviously, like if we looked at Monday through Friday,
Mhm.
you would see those spikes. I mean, we have done our own, you know, kind of unofficial studies where, you know, and we've shared them with the select board as well, but you know, 60 cars in 15 minutes and 450 in, you know, 2.5 hours. So I just want to be clear, you know, about the time and the days of the week.
Yeah, this collects, from my understanding is it collects it every day.
Okay,
Yeah. So that would be on air, you know,
so it's an average.
the average, yeah, 7 days a week,
Including
whatever that time span was from start to end, that's, you know, my understanding of it.
So that's really not representative of what, you know, we're
Monday through Friday, you
trying
say?
to,
Yeah, but I think it is somewhat because it's showing at least the time. The
okay,
timeframes are in line with what you guys are saying, because it's not an all day thing, right? So it's during the PM commute, the
Correct.
3 to 6, 3:30 to 7:30. I mean, I've seen it myself. I you know, it's obvious I've monitored the area. So to your point, where you're saying with these cars are going on Reedsdale or Pleasant, and they're taking the left on Clifton, I've seen it as
I
well.
didn't know keeping a right.
Yeah,
also.
right.
It's backed up, like it's usually backed up to the academy.
So,
It goes back up to the church, so that's where the throughput's coming.
so I'm just looking this up. I want to see what the report says for the, when it was pulled in. Let me see, we have it here.
While he's
Yes,
looking
you-
to that, if you want a few minutes for that, does anybody here
Yeah, I got that.
have any questions for the residents or just general questions? I know you asked a few questions, Jack.
No, I'm having a problem with library, the traffic lights at library corner. And I just wanted to make sure it wasn't an aggravating situation, and I don't think it is.
Oh, okay.
Travis has his hand up on the Zoom too. I don't know if we could just ask him what he wants.
Hi, Travis. Do you want to state your address, please?
Sure, can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah.
Great. It's 45 Clifton Road, Travis Gregory. I just wanted to point out something that I've noticed over the last few days. Starting last week, but over the last couple, it's now Wednesday. So usually I leave to go pick up kids at Cunningham around 4 o'clock. There are times where there is no traffic to make a left, right? But as I'm driving towards Cunningham, I see that people can make a left onto Randolph, and they're still coming now down Clifton instead. And whatever reason that may be, whether it's perception that it's now faster because they've been pushed that way so many times, or whether it's an idea that I'm going to beat traffic, right? Why I bring that up is that perception is hard to overcome. And what I would hate to do is for this, whatever we're talking about, for some sort of interim resolution to take too long, that now perception is Clifton Road is faster than Randolph Ave, regardless of what gets done afterwards, unless it's something that's pretty aggressive. So I just wanted to bring that up because time is something that we want to think of how we resolve this as well. I would hate for that to become the norm, is to go down Clifton Road unless we do something about it.
Thank you.
I did miss our last meeting. Has Mass DOT thought of any solutions?
The retiming of the lights to allow more folks onto Randolph. Other than that, it's our jurisdiction.
Maria, if I may, I just with the follow-up for you, Amy. So we collected that on the 26th. So that was on a,
Tuesday.
what was that, a Wednesday? So I want to say like Thursday or Friday, I got the call. So I agree with your point, but for what I've been told, that there's somebody, that he's not here tonight, obviously, who's been working in this longer than I have, has told me that if the machine, like the battery runs out, whatever data was collected up to that point, it just shuts off and won't continue to collect data, like as if no cars are there, although the dates continue on. So what it may skew the data, which I could see is, it's not a 10-day window. So even though this has from the 13th to the 23rd, it's not, it may have collected it for 7 days.
Okay.
So it is possible that it would have skewed it in that capacity. If that does that make sense?
It does,
At all?
yeah, I just wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know the call was like Thursday or
We
Friday.
called on Friday the 21st.
So what's that says, wait, that sounds about right. So, and then if the 23rd was what, that's Sunday? Or what, yeah, it's a Sunday, so that would have been 2 days after. So that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, we could talk a little bit, some of the discussions we've been having is either the do not enter sign onto all of the side roads from Reedsdale, or placing a restrictive no left turn on to Highland. Yes,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but if you're still open to other comments, I wanted to let Clifton people speak. I live on Spafford, and just a couple things to say.
yes, come on up to our group. No, please, this is right your time to
Thank
speak.
you very much.
Do you mind saying your name?
I'm Bart Riza. I live in 11 Spafford. Thank you everyone for your time and how serious you're looking at this. And we definitely feel the pain of our neighbors in Clifton. And thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
I'll write that after. But obviously, we're supportive. I don't speak for all the neighbors on Spafford, but some of them, many of them, we're obviously supportive, of measures to help traffic calming for all the streets. And Clifton's getting it particularly bad right now. But obviously, we know there's been a pre-existing condition. And there are many more projects coming online. For example, the Avita Memory Care, whose traffic engineer measured actual data at exactly the same facility, same number of beds, was going to add 288 new vehicles to the neighborhood, many of them using Spafford. Observations for us, I think we definitely see the afternoon commute, even before the road died, for whatever reason, is the worst time. Morning, we get a lot of high school kids, a lot of people going to the high school. Yes, there's, I think when Milton Hospital did a traffic study last year, they measured about 150 cars coming up the street from Reedsdale to Highland between 7 and 8 a.m. For their traffic study. 20% hospital traffic, 80% other traffic, of which we think a lot of that is the high school. But, so that's there. But the afternoon, for whatever reason, is when it seems particularly aggressive. And that's when the kids are out of school, as people have said. A lot of the drivers are not looking out, they're looking at their phones. And, our kids really have to watch them if they want to try to ride the bike 3-4 houses up, because, even when they pull over the side, we don't have sidewalks and the road is very narrow. Cars are right at the edge. They're not looking out, and they're screeching to a halt, or people are beeping at you. And the aggression, the speed, I think these are all concerns. In terms of since the road died, when Reedsdale backs up, as you can imagine, if people can't get to Clifton to cut through or to get to the light, they'll start turning up Spafford. So obviously, I don't think we're getting anywhere near as many net new cut through traffic as a result of the road diet, but we are getting some for when Reedsdale does back up and they turn right up the hill. So it used to be the majority of the traffic in the morning goes up the hill, the majority of the traffic in the afternoon comes down the hill. Now it seems like we're getting two-way traffic more consistently throughout the day, particularly in the afternoon. So I would just say, thank you again for looking at this, but I think, I totally respect, police, fire, DPW, all the perspectives in the past of, we don't want to just keep putting up, enter signs because it can cause other problems, or, that, there are other things that need to be considered, even though many of the other streets, there are 7 or 8 other streets in the close vicinity all have them, except for our 4 ladder streets. But I would, humbly suggest looking at solutions like, we can't do time of day restricted just for residents. What seems to be legal in Massachusetts is, local traffic only signs. If we're concerned, we don't want to restrict access for police, fire, critical services. They're using Massachusetts, I believe, local traffic only or no through traffic signs. And local traffic is defined as home or business that its destination is in the local area. So anywhere within half a mile away. So any business going to the hospital, to town hall, to the police station, that would all be considered local traffic. So I think that something like that, I totally respect the signal timing and other things, but these problems are not going to go away. It's just going to keep getting worse as more is built. And our streets are not, we have to prioritize safety. We're not going to eliminate everything. So I think something like that can help calm traffic and not disturb the other vital services that need to happen. The other one that was suggested by the traffic engineer of the memory care, when the memory care facility applied for their special permit, they recommended, and they gave an example in Watertown of speed humps in a 20-mile-an-hour safety zone, given the proximity to the hospital. And that way, you really don't have to do a lot of enforcement from the police side. It doesn't overburden them. And, 20 miles an hour means 25 is tolerated. And something like that is a lot safer than now, where, there are no speed humps and 30 miles an hour is tolerated. And, it really creates an unsafe situation, as we've heard on Clifton, and it's happening every day on Spafford as well. So obviously that costs money, but as part of the approval that they got, the memory care company has to pay, I believe, $13,000 into traffic mitigation fund for the neighborhood. And each speed hump, I think, on the Mass DOT website costs about $2,000. So it would go some way towards paying for that. I know we've done them recently on Governor's Road. I haven't followed up to see like what people think, but I believe really at the end of the day, we're pushing a balloon on different sides. If we want to, prioritize safety and be practical, that those speed humps, in 20 miles an hour would, make things safer. And the data they showed us for Watertown, they did also reduce some volumes as well, because people can't just speed through aggressively, they're less likely to cut through. So I would, in closing, suggest, in addition to what you were about to discuss, the no left turns, and also time of day, if we're looking for something less, something more permanent, but less burdensome on other road users that need to use the roads, the local traffic only signs, and then also the idea of speed humps. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good, do we have anyone else from the other streets? Oh, I have a bunch of people here online. So I'll open up to Christina first. Christina de la Cruz.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Christina Dela Cruz. I live and own 20 and 22 Clifton Road. I just wanted to echo everything that the residents on our street have said. I've also, where I live, and on the third floor, I can see Reedsdale from my window. And what I've noticed a lot are cars turning right, coming up Reedsdale to the light where Randolph is. Usually I'll see about 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in a row come speeding up. So I just wanted to, I think that was highlighted, but I did want to bring that up again. So we're getting it obviously from all areas. And I do support any type of speed bumps or some type of diversion of a sign that will, not allow people to come during certain times, especially with the new facilities and complex being built on Randolph on both sides. We're going to get cut through traffic also once those are built.
Thank you. Manette, could you please state your name and your address, please?
Sure. My name is Manette. I live at 16 Spafford Road in Milton.
16 Spafford. Manette, what's your last name?
Donovan. Spelled D-O-N-O-V-A-N.
Can't understand.
I don't think. Huh?
DONOVAN.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Can you okay. Is it possible to share my screen by any chance?
No,
It's not. Okay.
I don't.
Information if we email it.
I don't think we can understand you.
Will you take?
I think she has to share her screen.
Yeah, well, what are you saying?
It's hopefully to share my screen. It sounds like that's a no.
She wants to share a screen.
Yeah, you're unable to share your screen.
Okay. Will you take a supplemental? Can we email?
You're breaking up a bit. I don't know if maybe you could reconnect to the Zoom.
Okay. Can you hear me a little better now?
Yes, much better. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Will you take supplemental information? If I do have a slideshow, I wasn't able to send it over in advance, just showing some photos of what we're seeing on our street. Is that something we're allowed to email?
Yes, of course. Please send it to my email address. I can type it over and send that information over to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I'll just briefly go over the information. I just want to reiterate what Bart said. We've been dealing with some traffic issues, in particular on Spafford, and we're supportive of working with all of the ladder streets to make sure that they are all safe. There's a tremendous amount of children and young families in this area. However, we've been dealing with some specific issues on Spafford in particular. And if you haven't yet, I'd invite you to take a drive up of Spafford Road. It's one of the oldest streets in Milton, and it's a very, very narrow street, and it's very, very steep. We have a Waze brings all of the traffic for Milton Hospital in large part up our street, including we have air gas, gigantic tank trucks that come up our street, all the uniform suppliers for the hospital, the food vendors. We have multiple pictures of here, ambulances, a multitude of times during the day. So Spafford isn't set up for the traffic it's getting now. And layered, and that's why there's a traffic study underway and this money put aside for it, because everyone's acknowledged it's a big problem on Spafford Road. However, it's really been exacerbated by this lane diet. As Bart had mentioned, we're seeing more two-way traffic. Spafford Road is very narrow. It's about 20 feet wide. And unlike any of the other ladder streets, there are no sidewalks on Spafford Road. So if there are two cars driving down Spafford Road at one time, one going up, one going down, a walker on the street needs to go onto a lawn. We have no sidewalks. And so I think that in the short term, it's really even more dangerous. Right now, it's highly populated with young families. And very soon they're starting construction on a large scale facility planned at the top of our street, which by their own estimation will bring at least 288 vehicle trips per day or 2,000 a week. So, and again, all of these, would be supportive of the do not enter idea. At the top of Spafford in the morning, a number of people also take a right there to go to the high school. So the do not turn on the left only might not be sufficient for our road in particular. The other thing is, let's see, I think that covers almost everything that I wanted to say. I'm happy to follow up with photographs of all of the information that I've mentioned, but I'd like to thank you for your time, and we're really thrilled that you're looking at the issue, and there are some mitigation measures hopefully that can be put into place. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Nadine Hanna.
Hello, everyone. This is Nadine Hanna, 11 Stafford Road. Thank you again for coming together to discuss this important issue. Echoing back everything, for the sake of time that Bart and Mandy said, in addition to our Clifton neighbors, one point specifically that Mandy was addressing in regards to the commercial traffic from the hospital, when you put that together with the new commercial traffic that's going to come in with the new facility on top of the road diet, our major concern really is truck traffic, present and future. Being in the supermarket industry and being very familiar with large scale heavy duty trucks and the impact that they have when they come through your neighborhood and you have children running around. It's a very scary thought for us as residents and as neighbors. And so if now is the time to address the neighborhood holistically, as we are implementing safety measures with the road diet, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way. I just feel so much safer, traveling that road now. If this is the time when we're having those conversations, I would really, really implore you all to consider specific traffic and access. Like Mandy said, the air gas tanker dwarfed my neighbor's house across the street. We've got the uniform first there, I think Thursdays, 1:30 is about the time that they come down the hill. In addition to other gas, medical facility, office equipment. You know, everything's labeled on a truck. You can tell what's coming down the street and who they've been coming from. So with residents coming into the memory care facility, with the number of residents, the amount of staff, the amount of meals that they're going to have to provide, the linen services, et cetera, we're going to be exacerbating that commercial traffic problem that we currently have into something, you know, even larger and wider scaled. And the only solution that the Avita people really gave us would be for us to go ahead and call them if we notice trucks coming down the street. Well, guess what? We've called the hospital. We've called the hospital. We've emailed the hospital. A couple of the neighbors have, you know, the president's cell phone number in their pocket. Nothing's changed. It's only gotten worse. And even since the memory care conversation is closed down, it you know, the pressure for the hospital to play nice now that their sale has gone through, the land sale, and it's gone. So we're getting less attention. We're getting more commercial traffic and more vehicles, you know, coming from the road diet. So thank you again. These are all really serious concerns on our behalf, and we appreciate anything that you guys can do.
Thank you. All right, so,
I speak.
sure.
John Driscoll, 718 Randolph Ave. I'm a firm believer in staying on all major roads, because those side streets are tough. You know, with my trucks or trailers, they're not the best streets in the world, so if any of my trucks are being nasty to anybody, just give the office a call and I'll straighten it out. But a Monday before Thanksgiving, it took me 25 minutes to go from Clifton Road, just to go around the bend on Meadsdale Road. And that's the Monday before Thanksgiving. And the next day I called Nick and said, we can't wait 2 weeks, Nick, for the meeting with the state. So I said, we gotta get the police to go back into the intersection, because the people coming from Randolph Ave, they waiting to get on the right at the 7-Eleven. So they were bottlenecking that whole intersection. You couldn't move. And it was just absurd. So I asked Nick to see if the police could go to the intersections again when they first implemented this and direct the traffic. Stop the traffic, let the people move. And that's what I experienced that Monday night. And I think that would help out a lot. You know, just to get the Randolph Ave is only gonna move so fast, because you move 2-lane highway down to 1. And I have no answers for that. And I live on Randolph Ave, so I feel their pain. And I don't understand why they don't put up on Spafford Road a 2.5-ton limit. So all those big trucks going down there, they should just start ticketing them all. You know, for the Spafford Road people with those trucks. If you put up a sign, no trucks over 2.5 ton. That would eliminate the trailer trucks and all that stuff. Trying to give them a little more. That's my opinion, but I don't know. But
have we ever gone to the hospital and told them to tell their vendors to stay off our side roads and just deliver through the normal roads? And from a town perspective, not from individuals calling, but from this police department and saying, hey, this is the way it's gonna be. And if we start seeing these people, we're gonna pull them over and be really nasty to them. I mean, it's just ridiculous. There's no reason. It takes the delivery guy 5 minutes probably, or 10 minutes at worst.
the Spafford Road's been talking about that for 3-4 years.
Brought this up, but this
Yeah,
is the third time.
I've heard from Spafford folks in the
Yeah.
past.
Thank you.
But it used to, in the past, it was mostly the cut through of the high school kids going in the morning, that window of, you know, that 45-minute window. That was the last time we talked about it here before you were here.
No, we've been talking to them about the traffic with the deliveries and
Yeah,
talk to the hospital. It is a public way, so there is no, the officers can speak on that, but it can't be pulling over people.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a posted sign, but there's a process to
Yeah, and then there is a process to answer your question. We can't just pick streets and put truck exclusions on roads. They're very limited, not limited, but they're specified by Mass DOT. If you don't mind, just,
Yeah, it's regulated by MassDOT. And essentially you need to do a truck exclusion study, which means that you'll take traffic counts out there. The truck needs to be between 5 and 8% of the total daily traffic. Which is very hard to see, you know, if you think about, even if we go into the numbers of 100 vehicles down that, you're talking about 5 or 8 trucks going down there a day. Very hard to meet that. The other part with that, just looking ahead to say, you know, hypothetically speaking, you do get that, you install signs on Spafford. The next progression is the next street, then the next street, and then the next street, and you're more kicking the can down the road. Figuratively and actual, but it's more working with the drivers. I think that is, you know, talking with the hospital to keep them, you know, if there's a way that they can drive the internal roads of the hospital to come out onto Reedsdale as opposed to driving down Spafford, to keep them on the arterials where they belong. But like you had alluded to, Maria, there's nothing that we can do in terms of enforcement if there's no signage out there, and you know, it's no signage until you can actually get the exclusion, and you may not get that. So it's kind of that cyclical process here that it's a public road until it's signed differently.
yeah. And then to answer your question as to the speed humps, that is something that I think we are going to be looking at more on a townwide scale. To answer your question, whether or not they are useful or not, they are reduced, they have been shown to reduce speeds. We have to look at speeds don't seem to be, it's the 85th percentile, they don't seem to be exceeding speed, but there are way more on these roads. The 85th percentile doesn't seem to be way above the 25 miles per hour. It doesn't, I'm not trying to say to you that the 25%, the 85th percentile being above 25 is what triggers speed humps being put in. I think that has to be a broader discussion here in town, and how we're going to approach now receiving the traffic mitigation. This is something that the commission has been talking about. So definitely something we're going to take on. It does sound like the residents are looking for something more. The speed humps, they could go different ways. We've seen other communities do the ones that are just in the spring or are just a temporary. We do a pilot program. They're rubbers. They are stuck on the road, obviously. They can be taken out. We are discussing some of those measures along with other communities. Many other communities are doing those. So we are studying different measures. We're studying a roadmap on how to approach a very both thorough and a process that every street is going to go through the same process. Here are the things that are important: crash data, speed, volume, proximity to schools and hospitals, and you spoke about all of those. So it's kind of like we need to figure out what our measurements are and how we move forward. However, if we as a group here were to say, let's get speed humps on those streets now, they can't be installed now in the middle of the winter. So to answer to the point of these folks are looking for something right away, this wouldn't happen until next summer. So that is something we can continue to talk about in terms of speed humps and other traffic mitigation. They're called vertical traffic calming. And we will continue to talk about this, but again, this is not something that we wouldn't be able to put it in tomorrow. You know, snow's coming, the asphalt plants are closing, just no construction happening right now. So I think that what we do have on our hands right now are the time restrictions that if you don't, we could discuss and vote on.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it back if we could to just our original discussion, several weeks ago at the select board meeting, there was a proposal for 4 no left turns at the end of Clifton, Martin, Buckingham, and Spafford on the Highland side. So, so that drivers or whoever cutting through would not be able to get onto Highland to get back to Randolph Ave. So I think we'd like to hear an update on that. And then there was also, a discussion about needing some signage on the Reedsdale end as well. That's, perhaps no through traffic or something. Because once all of those drivers are on the street, they don't know that there's no left turn until we get to the end. Unless there is some way to update the apps. But to Travis's earlier point, there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people who've been doing this for 2 months now, and they know Clifton Road, and they know they can cut up our street every evening. So we need something in place, that will change those apps, but we also need some kind of signage, some kind of restriction in place that can be enforced. To cut down on those drivers that now they already know about how to get through the neighborhood faster. And I know there's a Mass dot meeting on Monday. I don't know what they'll propose, but I'm hopeful, that I think we're all hopeful, there's many of us on the Zoom as well from Clifton Road. We'd really like some update or a decision on what can be done in terms of these other signage and restrictions.
Justin, you can help me with that. We're discussing that. There isn't really a specific sign that'll say no. It would be very confusing for all the drivers in the beginning. The police will likely not. They would be using the first few weeks as a educational purpose where they tell folks, this is your warning. You should not be turning. Did you miss this sign? For those folks that are on the Milton Quincy line, there's been, sometimes the DPW puts up new traffic pattern ahead with the message board. So folks know that they're approaching an area of, that such a sign will be placed on Reedsdale ahead of, but there isn't much for you to, you have
On
to-
Reedsdale
on
Road.
Reedsdale Road
Okay.
for folks coming in. Maybe both direction, side roads, new traffic pattern ahead. You can only say so little, so people have the time to read it. They will likely still enter your road for the first couple, few weeks.
That
Yeah.
might say, yeah, until that GPS gets adjusted,
The GPS, we talked about that, the apps do get adjusted and then eventually they will start rerouting folks because it will, when the people are using their GPS, it will tell them that it's the longest way because now they gotta go back.
Right. It should
So
have-
it does get updated,
Okay.
such as what has happened on Randolph. There is a period of time that gets updated. And then at one point, but the commission does have serious reservations. We've talked about your group as well, the other groups. All time restrictions around town are usually around the same time, right? And we only have enough, and I don't want to speak on behalf of your department. They only have enough folks on their department. They cannot be around every single. So the illusion that there will always be, you make a call and the officer will be there is,
it can be very difficult.
it'd be good to.
No, I appreciate that, but I mean,
But
we are having this issue now.
Mm.
I don't know if, a street off of Brook Road is having the same kind of focused issue now. And I completely appreciate that the police cannot be everywhere. And I know the second we call, whatever just was going on is over now anyway, I
Yeah.
said that to you earlier.
But we will be there if you call us. It's just a matter of being able to allocate an officer every day to that specific street. I agree with you. I mean, this is a
Until, maybe
current.
until the pattern, is
Current issue.
updated, just, I spoken about this a lot at a lot of different meetings, but we really need to try something. And that we're really.
And my understanding of the process is at this point, we would discuss, talk about the pros and cons, because nothing comes with just pros and without the cons. And then we leave it up to the select board to vote on. So we will. We usually, our group makes recommendations to the select board. So this is where I wanted to kind of move this conversation to, so just to be respectful of time, we do have a lot many, this is an important, I don't want to mean that it's not an important, but I know that you guys have an urgent matter. I think some of the questions that I would have would be related to, you know, this is something that will likely continue to be discussed with the select board, because are the other roads also understand that the restriction, the no left turn or full restriction onto those roads would happen to all the roads at once, right? We talked about that.
Yes.
It wouldn't be just Clifton.
So I could just have three. If we just consider it holistically, moving traffic Randolph Ave headed towards 128. If the advantage to the driver is to leave the queue at 7-Eleven, travel Reedsdale, speed up one of the side streets because they need to beat that traffic coming down Highland, and then get out on Randolph Ave, then that action is only encouraging their behavior to continue, because now they've put the volume up farther. You can't get the throughput at the intersection. And finally, to the Spafford's Column point, all those streets are narrow, they're not conforming, they're not well lit, and the drivers have a sense of urgency, and there's a ton of children. Somebody.
No, that's what we're discussing, right? Right?
Yeah.
This is, we understand that, that's what the do not enter, and the no left turn, that wouldn't allow folks to do that.
Right.
Would folks do it illegal? They would do it at their own.
They do it their own risk.
Their own risk
Yeah.
of, you know, the fulfillment of the law.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do we think would happen if you put a do not enter sign, either it's all the time or at a certain time? Where would all that traffic go? It's just gonna be back further up, back,
The do not enter sign.
if you put them at the bottom of each of the four streets.
One of the biggest cons on that is that it would, we talked about that at the last
Yeah,
meeting.
you know.
Emergency response times to those roads would go down, because same as everyone else, the emergency vehicles cannot get into that, so they would have to do a huge turnaround. The
Because
do
of
not
traffic.
left on turn, on the do not left turn on Highland are a little less restricted, because then the emergency vehicles can't get onto.
Well, it's like a relative example would be, we're responding to an emergency and we approach a red light. You proceed with caution right after you stop, but a liability wise, if something happens, I mean, you know, that is a concern, because it is a no left turn, opposed to no left turn. So that is what the
But wouldn't
The law is there.
ambulance to the hospital be coming on Highland down the ladder streets?
what do you mean?
But
Like-
wouldn't the emergency vehicles enter off Highland coming down for the most part, like the police stations back?
Oh, not coming the other way, you're saying, going up, so that they would like violate that. Yeah, very.
I
Very
would
rarely,
say,
yeah.
to be honest with you, you never know.
Yeah, but
The
that's the
fire
law,
station is easy, that's the easiest way for us. The closest engine is right behind here, so we would go higher.
Right.
But if that engine's busy, then the second engine would be coming from East Milton, so if they come up Pleasant Street to Reedsdale, then they wouldn't be able to take that left-hand turn to any of those streets during that posted no, do not enter time. So then they would have to come all the way around, come back up to here, and then enter Highland if you got it. So that's
So
what.
we're in all that, good one.
Well, you can't, because those are, well, you could come up Reed, but you'd have to go down Randolph Ave to Reed to come up.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you can come up from there. So it does increase response time for the fire engine, and he's there anywhere at any time they could be. So
We could very easily, we're usually not at the police station, we're assigned a route, so we'll be out on the street, so there is a possibility, a very real possibility that if we had to respond to emergency, it could happen.
And all residents that live on the street, again, these are all really valid points, bring it all up so you all understand the logistics. There is no ability for a sign to be there to say what you said, local traffic only. There would be no way of them to enforce those signs to begin with, because you pull them over and I'm like, oh, I know someone who lives there. How, are you like, it doesn't.
Can't differentiate who's who, and then
So it becomes a confusing factor and.
Yeah. So it makes it difficult. It makes it really difficult.
Yeah, but at the end of the 6 months, this could go back to the 4-lane highway. It's just a.
Right, that's because this is a pilot right, exactly.
It could eventually go back to the 4-lane highway.
Right.
So
that's what makes it
I'm
difficult.
all for the safety of the road, believe me, but this could all go back to the 4-lane highway. You know, with the lights turning red more often, which they did do right after the accident, and it did slow traffic down.
Marita, one thing just to keep in mind, and we've touched upon this with emergency vehicles, this applies to everybody. So it's not just, and I understand that with change, there is some things that the residents will want to see and they'll deal with, and for the safety of everyone else. And I'm not trying to say that we haven't thought about this or that they're not prepared for that, but if there's no left turn signs, that means there's no left turns for residents either. That means that you're finding a different way to go, or you're going a different way. Or if there's do not enter time restricted, that you cannot enter your street that way, you have to go a different way. So just noting that while this will be but for all the cut through traffic, it goes for all the residents too. So just keeping that in mind if those signs are installed, or that is the decision that's made. There's no way for the police to differentiate, oh, I live here, oh, that's great, but the sign applies to everyone that goes here. If we're stuck not taking a left turn, everyone is. So
Yeah, and
just something to keep in mind.
And there's the following effect. We talk about that all the time. If you live there and you turn left, guess what? Everyone else is gonna follow you, because there is that effect of
And they do.
following.
They will do that.
They will do that. Not that they're not less liable, everybody's liable, but it creates that confusion aspect, so.
And a common, oh, good, I don't want to.
No, I don't wanna. Thank you. No, just 2 quick things and then I know we have to move on. I would just, I appreciate all the comments again, part of everything, let us back the road. 2 things. One, when I remember hearing from the traffic engineer that worked for the memory care, he had said that even if you're not gonna actively enforce signage, that there is some percentage, in his experience, some percentage of the population will still observe the signs. So even if it doesn't shut down everybody, the no left turn sign or.
Yeah, in my experience, I would agree with that. That's really
And it helps with the apps too.
It helps, yeah, so that would be one. The other one, years ago, I had heard discussion about, and maybe this, you've already talked about this, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the same do not enter on all 4 streets at the same time. Is it something to consider, because Clifton is the first one and it's the one getting hit up with that intersection? And then, Spafford is the last one. Would they be flipped and say, hey, in the morning commute, you can't enter Clifton. The afternoon commute, you can't go down Spafford, something like that, which would allow residents to move, to your point, to move freely more, to find a route, but would still discourage the cut through traffic from, during that really critical period. And related to that, I remember a select board member years ago had suggested, oh, these streets are so narrow, we really should look at making like 2 of them one way, and 2 of them one way, another way. And then this was something like 15 years ago. I don't know if that has been discussed, but just some thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
The red out and response time, to your point, if it goes back, this is a pilot program. When did the response time, what was the impact of the response time to the red dot?
On Randolph Ave?
Yeah, for any of the.
Very little response time from us, difference. It's one lane and there's plenty of room for them to pull over. I actually experienced it. I actually had a Mass DOT meeting. And as I was pulling out of my office, pulling out of here, they had an accident in front of Human Farms. And so I went that way and I found no issue with anybody blocking there. And the ambulance and the engine are right behind me. So I didn't really find it.
The lane's still there.
The lane is still there, so there's still plenty of room, yes.
Yeah, having that lane helps significantly, you know.
And as far as, you look at the ambulance, Randolph, I've talked to the Randolph chief and he's not finding any difference. For the Randolph ambulance coming to Milton Hospital hasn't found much of a significant difference in their response time either. Or transport time.
If I may, real quick, I think I think Maureen has made a very strong point that we care very much about this issue. It's very important to us. Safety, especially for kids, like it's paramount. And we're taking all of your considerations very seriously. And there's been a lot of thought and discussion and input amongst ourselves, with you guys trying to come up with a solution for this. So please know that we care. We want to be able to come up with a solution that works. Obviously, there's so many different variables that affect different things. With that said, I live in Milton. I'm from this town. I'm raising kids here. I always put myself in your shoes. I don't live on Clifton, but I put myself from the perspective, like if I live there, what would I want to see? So from the police department side, the enforcement, and we're trying to come up with like, what can we do right now? So I know we've had some officers down there. So what I can tell you is that we can't allocate somebody there every day, but we will continue to be a presence down there and be there. If you guys need something, we will respond. All right. If there's an issue, I know we were talking earlier, you mentioned it again with the aggressive driving. All right. If you can just get a plate on the car, right, and you call us, that car might be gone, but we may we can do like a follow-up and contact that person. At least put it, you've been spotted. There was a complaint on you. We can at least do something like that. And I think just having a presence down there, you've said yourself, like that can have a little bit of a deterrent effect. And that applies for Spafford, Martin, any road. Like, just trust me when I say, like, if we can do something, we will do it. So know that, like, at least tomorrow, we have officers out there right now on Route 28. We've been hiring full traffic enforcement cars. We've had our traffic unit officers out on Randolph Ave and Reedsdale Road, Route 28, and all the side roads. They've been ramping up their efforts and our efforts. So, obviously we can't dedicate somebody there every day, but know that, we will continue to monitor. And if we can ramp up the directed patrols down your street on the evening time, especially between that 3 to 6, 3:30, 7:30, we'll do that. If that can provide a little bit of relief for you guys, we'd be more than happy to do it. All right.
It's not local traffic, it's
people just cutting through. Yeah. 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 And obviously, as like volume, we can't do much with, but if speeding, aggressive drive, somebody driving up on a sidewalk, like you said, they're getting into it with neighbors, we can address that. And I always say, never confront that person yourself. You're better off just calling us, keeping it cool, because you never know what somebody is capable of, right? So I always recommend don't get into an argument with somebody. Just call us, get their plate, get their name, whatever you can, description, give us a call. So that's all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we want to make any recommendations to the select board, or should we just summarize our thoughts here and send that over to them? Or is there a specific are you guys more in favor of the do not enter versus the no left, no left restriction? One over the other? Do you have a preference over the do not enter on the side streets over the no left turn?
I don't think that if I had a preference, it'd be the no left turn. For enforcement purposes, yeah, it's tough for the do not enter. But
Easier for
did
you to be spotted at one spot.
well, so to just, I ask you to put yourself in my shoes now. So for enforcement, right, we have so many resources that we have at our availability, right? So we've only so many officers. A lot of them respond to calls. We can't dedicate somebody just for traffic, but what we do is we usually take those officers who are responsible for handling calls, complaints or whatever, and we will put them on what we call a directed patrol. So they'll go and they'll do traffic enforcement as part of their patrol duties, right? So if we put them on Clifton, we put them on Spafford, we only, say we have a handful of officers working, right? So if we have one of those officers on Clifton or Spafford, they're only able, for these do not enters I'm talking about, we're only able to monitor that one street for that given time. The thought is with these no left turns, right? If we had to pick one, you would have them on Clifton, Martin, Buckingham, Spafford, you have them on all going out on Highland Street, right? Does that sound right? If you had that one officer there, they'd be able to be on Highland Street or be at the top of Clifton or something, like one of those streets. You can actually see those cars coming out of all those side streets. So you'd actually have eyes on all those streets at the same time and not just saying, I'm just going to be able to monitor Clifton or just Martin or just Spafford. So you have a broader view. You can see more and be more effective by doing that. All with that said, negative side effect, like the con for you guys who live there is if you guys wanted to come out of your street, you have to take a right. And that would apply. Were we talking about time restrictions or we just
The time restrictions,
for the
yeah.
no left turn? Yeah, so it wouldn't be
Then
all
you would have
day.
to go back with everyone else on to Reedsdale to then go up Randolph, in case you're trying to get, okay, let's say that you're on your road and you want to go to the South Shore Plaza at 5 p.m., right? Instead of turning right and left, turning left,
Yeah,
you would have to go back up.
And that's only just something to think about. That's not
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's, to me, again, putting myself in your guys' shoes, that's just something to think about. Yeah.
What if the selectmen got you, overtime money? Try to get this thing going.
I'm saying the revenue that they would make.
So I want to ask.
Yeah, we can't, so as far as revenue generation, that doesn't work.
The lack of bodies, that you wouldn't be able to fill those overtime.
So I'm always gonna be honest and transparent. I don't think I'm in the position to talk about like overtime. Like, I mean, that's kind of like above me, so that might be some, I could bring it to the attention of the administration and then they could probably get back to you.
So when I was on the warrant committee, there was $60,000 per year allocated from the state to manage traffic on that street. And I don't know whatever happened to that money. I ask the question every time on the warrant committee, so maybe something as a select board member can ask that question to see if we still get that money. And it was, the willingness of people to do the job too. So overtime is not part of their normal job, so.
So we do have it's a state grant, so like
Yeah,
the
yes.
Route 20, we do have that.
Yeah.
So we have officers that we're hiring on overtime.
Okay.
They were out there tonight, they were out there yesterday, they were out there last week. For like Route 28, Route 138.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, we do have that.
Which is to the left-hand turn, I gotta take a right, down to her DPW yard,
Yeah.
go back, and it could add like 25 minutes.
By having to take a right
No,
there.
just
Yeah.
explain to the neighbor.
Yeah, gotcha.
So if what you wish for, cause I have to go right, go to the DPW, I turn around and then go back up to the Pepsi garage where I park. It could add 25 minutes to my day.
Wait a second, where do you come on?
718 Randolph Ave at the old dump, I can't take a left. I have to take a
Yeah.
right, go to the DPW, I turn around and get in the traffic. So I ain't limited.
Don't teach people to get to.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think?
There's gonna be a gate and people cannot get into, there's a gate, it's gonna be
the
locked.
safest way to
Yeah.
do it. For me,
But I did the same thing. I live on Canton and Brook Hill Road and Morton Street used to be a huge cut through. We added signs, no cut through from 7 to 9. And I, as a resident, I can't do it. So if I want to go to Dorchester from Canton, I can go sit in traffic with everybody else and it adds a lot of time for me. So make sure you think it through before you say, yeah, we really want that because it changes your life too. And it was really bad cut through at first until they changed. I think they changed the ways that people don't go. Very rarely you see something cut through now. So people, all the residents are the same. Nobody, the streets are open straight.
I know, we realize, yeah, I know, we got it, yeah. But do we,
Folks, we do have 11 items to go through, and I want to be respectful. There are other folks that are on this call, and I do gotta get out of here at 7 o'clock because I have an emergency with my mom to help her out. So, unless we are willing to be here another night, which is fine, but, do you wanna, do you have for us to make, we need to have a say to the select board. Do you have a preference? You talked about your preference. Do not enter or do not left hands restriction or none.
I defer to the police department.
I mean, would it be better just to give the pros and cons?
We can just give the pros and cons. Is
And
that,
like,
you guys all happy with that? I'll summarize it, I'll run it by you and then.
just what we, and then they can make that determination.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, so we'll just summarize it to the select board actually votes on those
Yeah.
restrictions, okay? Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
You all know our emails, please continue to keep us updated. And this is not the end, we'll be talking on Monday as well, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I just asked if there's a left turn, no left turn, fire and police can't do that. Even in an emergency?
They do.
So it's-
You're doing it at your own risk. That's.
Yeah, everything is on accident or fault. Yeah, we'd be responsible for everything that happens.
Chief, you were the one that explained if it's someone calling because they're dizzy, you would likely not take that.
Right, so you have to weigh the everything, the building fire, like you have had on your stream before, right? So we, our first engine would then say, like, yeah, engine 2 come up this way, we've got the traffic shut down, so they know it's safe to travel that way. If it's a but like, if engine 1's out and we had to go up Clifton Road for someone not feeling well, would we take that? Probably not, because if we get one, what's the risk versus reward, you know what I mean? It's something that if you don't know exactly, maybe they just a little bit of versus having a heart attack building out. So to be liable on something like that, where it's somebody that's stubbed their toe versus, it's just hard for the officers of the engines that are responding to weigh that with very little information. So it's a very, very difficult thing to put the officers in. They have to make that split second decision. So we always are on the side of caution, right? Because we're liable for everything we do, driving and everything else. So, and the trucks are not easy to drive.
I know.
So my fear with the no left turn is we do come up Clifton Road and we have to go to a building fire on St. Marshall or something like that. Well, it's a very tight street, very tight corner. So, taking that corner, if we bump, clip somebody's front bumper or something, that's a stop sign that, then we become liable of that. Then you have to pull over and stop because you're an accident. You can't leave scene of an accident. So it just makes it very, very difficult for a responding fire truck to get in. And it is very difficult in the fire trucks. The firefighters are very good driving. They can't drive for a year and they always have a lieutenant responsible right next to them to give them their advice, and usually it's error on the side of caution.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Understand that.
next item, Dyer Ave traffic calming request. We have residents to speak. Thank you. Sorry if you don't mind coming up to the chair, writing your name and address, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Linda Mulak. I live on 47 Dyer Avenue. And I'm representing 14 other neighbors who could not attend this evening. But I have everyone's name. In fact, I'll send it to Ms. Fernandez.
Yes, thank you.
So basically, our concern has been speeding up and down our block from Houston and also from Blue Hill Parkway down. And recently on October the 19th, there was a crash at 3 a.m. I became aware of it because Milton Police came to my house and asked if I had any footage from my doorbell camera, but it was too far from my doorbell camera to register. And the crash occurred across the street from my house. That family has a white pickup, and the whole back cabin was crushed. Another neighbor said that she saw the driver get out of his car and limp to another car on Blue Hill Parkway. But this is something that's not new to us. I've been a resident for 13 years. I bought my house, my husband and I bought the house. And for the past 13 years, I've seen cars zoom. My children are now 11. I have twins, and the neighborhood has a lot of young children who go to Tucker. We are a block and a half from Tucker. Every morning, the family procession, everyone is walking to school. Now, sometimes cars race down even in the morning. Very often it's in the evening, but sometimes when I'm backing out, there's a car right behind me that's going at 40 miles an hour and has to kind of pause when he sees my car backing out. So with the recent crash, our inquiry is whether we could have a study done, traffic study, or whether there could be an electronic meter that captures the speed, with the ultimate goal of putting speed bumps down our street, which is pretty wide. And I think that's the other reason why people speed down Dyer Ave, is because it's a pretty wide street. See, that's my comment.
Thank you.
Good night.
So are there any options that can be discussed now, or is it just a statement?
Do we have the ability to place the same equipment to measure, or is
So I
that
think that's why when the
somewhere else?
battery, and it's the weather, the weather, the cold
weather.
that just zaps the battery. And
Yeah.
so the short answer is no, unfortunately. We can't. I mean, it wouldn't last very long if we did.
Yeah.
What wouldn't
I
last
have
The battery on the, so we have a signboard and it registers speed. So when we were talking with the group prior to you, we have these reports that it will generate for you. And you leave it out for a certain amount of time, it'll generate like an average speed, average volume of cars per day, overall, total number of cars, etc. The machines, they just don't. I put this one out for 10 days most recently. This was last month, November 13th. I put it out and it didn't last 10 days because the cold weather the battery doesn't last.
but we can do a traffic, with the engineering has a different.
Yeah,
We have a different equipment, which is the tubes. You've probably seen it. We wouldn't be able to put them out right now because of the winter weather conditions, because we're plowing, we're salting. But we could put that on our to-do list. As soon as the weather turns, we can start taking measurements for you.
Okay, so may I ask, what do you do with the data from the 10 days? Is it junk, or do you actually take a look at it?
I'll take a look at it. Yeah, like this we did in this case.
Well, we also measure for 10 days.
I can certainly see. I don't know what the.
He's saying that the battery
Yeah,
is gonna go down because.
Yeah, it didn't even last 10 days last time. It lasted only a
It
few
won't take
days.
the measurements.
Yeah,
We need to wait for the weather to turn.
yeah. And then also with the time of year, inclement weather, it's gonna snow.
Sure.
And you got the plows out there and you got the sanders and that's the problem, you know?
So can I ask a little bit more about this electronic device? Is it in the stop sign, or is it like the one that's on Fairmont or Truman Parkway, because there's one on.
So this is an actual, this is like, look, it looks like a small trailer, like a box that goes in the roadway. This isn't something you put in the ground. The tubes that Marina's talking about, they're much better, much more accurate. This is not as formal, so to speak. I would certainly trust the numbers from the tubes
Yeah. and
being
we'll
installed
select
by
that.
engineers.
Yeah, we'll select the day, for example, they won't be
Mm.
placed on over a weekend period. Justin, if you want to speak about how do you guys select a timeline to put these in? You wouldn't put it during a vacation week, because that's not a true measure of, you know.
Yeah, typically we'll look, the first thing we'll do is we'll look at, especially the school calendar. Local holidays, federal holidays, we're not gonna put it out there. We'll look at schools, make sure there's not half days, make sure there's not days off, because you wanna make sure it's a typical weekday. And in that sense, we don't count, it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Mondays. You know, if there's people that don't work Mondays or they're long weekends, where we take a Monday off, we take a Friday off, those are what we consider atypical. So we do a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 of those days. The industry standard is a 48-hour count. So you take it 2 complete 24-hour cycles. So we just did a similar exercise on Reservation Road, looking at that, and we took it a Wednesday at midnight to a Thursday at the end of the day, Thursday at midnight. So you get that 48-hour period, and you'll look at the volumes, you'll look at the speeds, you'll look at the classification. So that'll give you that. It'll show you the time periods during the day, as well as what those speeds are across the day.
I see. So the recommendation is wait until spring?
I would say.
I would recommend the spring period. We'll put it on the list. I'm sure we're catching up with a list of areas that are getting measured. We'll put something for us to do a traffic count in the spring. Okay. Is that okay with everyone else? With that being said, may I put a motion to have engineering oversee a traffic count of Dyer Street in the spring? Dyer Ave. What did I say?
Dyer Street.
Sorry.
And Doctor, what we can do from the police department side for more immediate responses. I mean, probably makes sense. I handle the traffic within the department. So this is a good platform to bring this concern for other reasons other than, which is obvious, you're looking for a more long-term solution. We can have officers go out there and monitor the area. So in the mornings, we have a lot of areas we cover, but if this is a concern to you, it's a concern to us. So we can add that to our list and have an officer, check in on that area in the mornings. It seems like, I know you said, I know it's in the afternoon, but you said mornings as well.
Sometimes in the morning.
Yeah.
People are cutting over either because they need to get to Little Parkway.
Yeah.
But in the summer months, it's between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Oh, is it?
It's
Okay.
like a road race outside.
Yeah.
And
mostly during the summer months, the 10 to 2, yeah.
mostly
All right.
10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
All right.
They're speeding, and there are multiple cars.
Are they like racing?
They're hanging out, but they're
Yeah.
hanging out together.
Yeah, I get
So
you. I
they're
know
not,
what you,
they're
yeah.
not racing,
Yeah.
but it's at least 2 cars, mostly 3.
Yep.
And they're just zooming down. They're going somewhere, but they take Dyer Ave as their path.
Okay.
And the police know. You should have reports.
Yeah, we have, so I got a little bit of data. That crash that you talked about from October 19th was listed there. I got 2 years worth of data. We have a lot of parking complaints.
Yep.
It's mostly parking complaints. I have 2 driving complaints. This is over the 2-year span for Dyer. And it was a high rate of speed. This was reported at 10:30 in the morning. And then the other one was from racing on the street. That was at 10:23 at night. So to speak to your point, so we don't have we don't have the volume of complaints, but it has, it's been brought up. Those were both from this year, from September and October.
So it's interesting. You don't have a volume of complaints because our house is set back. I actually didn't even hear the crash.
Yeah,
So if it depends on the design of your house.
sure.
If your bedroom is in the back,
Oh, yeah, you're not gonna hear that.
you don't hear it. And, it's mostly the two family houses that complained
Okay.
because of the apartments upstairs.
Oh, so it's because of where they're located, they're able to hear it. I understand that, yeah.
So do I have a motion to proceed with engineering to oversee traffic count in the spring? Yes,
Yeah, second.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will be in touch with you with those reports.
Okay, excellent.
And if you, yeah, thank you. Next item is that Valley and loading zone parking on Franklin Street. I believe we have someone, Ned, on the call. Give me one quick second. So go ahead, Ned. Thank you. Just for those, this is a continuation from last meeting. We did have, our group had several questions as to how this was gonna take place, and then I submitted those questions to Ned. Ned, if you can go over the questions and the answers that were provided. In addition to those of you that are unfamiliar with the area, we're talking about the intersection between Adam and Franklin. There is, as you enter Franklin, Starbucks is on your right, Abbey Park is on your left. The request for a valet parking area would be near the Abbey Park portion of it, and currently there's just a no parking. It is used as a loading zone. There was discussion prior to that becoming a loading zone. It might make sense, Ned, that this request uses both the loading zone during the day and a valet parking at the evening hours. So with that being said, Ned, if you want to go through it a little bit more, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I think Amanda, who's the general manager at Abbey Park, is present, and the valet operator, John, is there. If they could join you at
Guys,
the
come on in.
table.
I'm sorry, didn't realize you were in. If you want to pull up a chair. Thank you. Yeah, and if you don't mind, please signing in. Thank you both.
And Vance Welch, who's the owner of the two restaurants, is also on the Zoom as well to answer questions. This is fundamentally a request to allow if needed on a pilot basis first, to allow valet parking on the streets proximate to the two restaurants, Abbey Park and Novara, between the hours of 4 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The question was, one of the questions was, how does this impact loading the off hours loading in the loading zone? The valet, I think, would be there to be helpful with managing the loading activity taking place, making sure that they were in a proper location and whatnot. And I think the third question was, where will valet parked vehicles be parked? And the answer is that there are lots at 10 Church Street, 610 Adams Street that are both under control of the restaurants, as well as the public parking area, the town-owned parking area at 10 Bassett Street. So there are 3 lots proximate to the two restaurants that are available for valet parking. And I think the big benefit is that people will have a clear plan as to where and how they park coming to the restaurant, and a safe place for those vehicles to be placed, and the ability to maintain reasonable traffic flow through the neighborhood as a result. I think there was a fourth question that you asked.
Ned, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
We also have an additional lot at 480 Adams Street. That's all.
I think the other question that was whether or not would other patrons of other restaurants be able to use that? And then the second question was, are there general deliveries to the area happening between the hours of 4 p.m. and 11 p.m. that they would otherwise be trying to use that as a loading area during the days of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? Now they're unable to, so would they now be unloading from Adams Street or another location? Because that is specifically to valet. Maybe you could speak to that as a.
Yeah, so
Jesus.
the only business that I see getting deliveries off hours is Starbucks. Because they get them later at night. And what we're asking for is actually the valet on the opposite side of Abbey Park, so on the same side as Starbucks.
It's the same side.
Yeah, because there's a fire hydrant on the same side as Abbey Park. So we're asking for enough space on that same side as Starbucks for valet, but also we can direct trucks that are offloading and also like Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers and stuff. So our valet would be able to assist with that.
With the other restaurants too, like I know the Chinese restaurant does a lot of Uber and.
Yeah, anyone that needs to come in and use it, our valet can assist with telling them to be there, because there's enough space there for like ours, probably more.
The reason why I was under the impression that it would be at this area for now is because this is under construction and there is a gate, right? Taking up one lane of traffic.
But that's a
One way.
one way now.
It is.
Yeah.
So therefore, what the vehicles will be doing is they'll be cutting through and then back onto.
So they would take that corner.
Yeah.
Right here, and the valley would, the space would be like at the beginning part of the corner.
Right,
This way.
Yeah.
where the tree is.
And
They would get away from Adams Street.
Right.
Yeah.
would emergency vehicles still we would have to do a trial run to just make sure, as long as if there was a spot, if it was, and obviously it's valet, and obviously it's not unattended vehicles that could be moved very quickly.
Things happen.
But
He's not, we lose
Yeah.
him, but they're, Murphy's Law. I agree with you.
right, so speaking on a little bit
I
on your
think
behalf,
my concern would be the engine coming out onto Adams Street and then taking a left onto Franklin. Making that corner, you would have to have like a no parking, I think it's from here to corner is 20 feet. It's someplace
It
around
says
there.
like 20, yeah.
Yeah, so-
20 feet, I think.
I think it's 20.
Is it 20 feet?
20, yeah. Yeah, 20 feet, so
20
you would
feet.
have to have that 20 foot distance to make sure that people can turn onto the street.
So what, there now, they're just those blockades that are there now.
Right, count from any of the parking.
And that doesn't count as because of the car, the way it comes out on the corner. I just know what's already there, as I'm saying, if it's already there, we would just sort of use that as like a mock-up, since you already have it like that. I'm not 100, do you know how far that goes down?
Which part?
Right where the concrete blocks are, right there, when you make that turn on the sidewalk on the right side,
Which concrete blocks, I'm sorry.
right?
The hash mark, I guess, the yellow.
Basically, what you're talking about is the
Yeah.
20 feet.
Yeah, like that's a huge concern.
Going down to where, like the first entrance into the Starbucks lot?
No, right there in the corner of Adams and Franklin, right? That little patch before the tree.
Mhm.
That's basically what you need, is that first 20 feet. 20 feet's about,
Right.
it's this right here, this is about 23 feet from the.
yes.
23 feet of not using or what?
Yeah, so it's a non-usable for
Oh, you-
emergency vehicles.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause then there's still the space after,
Correct.
up until that first entrance into,
And we just need it
The
for
further-
pickup, drop off.
yeah, it's not like cars won't be.
We're not parking and stuff
We're not-
there.
Yeah, I think that would be my concern, would be that first 20 feet, and then obviously it would have to be, the construction site comes out, so I would have to. Trucks are obviously bigger, so parking a truck along that right-hand side, there is parking along there now. And the engines can get down there, but that's usually cars that are parked there, but if you ever have a truck unloading, that's a concern of mine, just how much space it would be had to leave for the fire engine to get by.
So the trucks unloading,
Brookline Coal and Ice to be able to get some ice. There are things that they kind of come and go. But we don't see a ton of, I mean, you see it more
It's
than I
one
do.
delivery truck at night for Starbucks.
That would be there. We
No
don't,
other tractor trailers, no Cisco, no.
Not during that time. It's only Starbucks. All the other deliveries in the square, they're during the day. But because of the hours
And
of
where do they unload right now?
the other businesses,
Yeah, oh, for anybody.
chains and stuff like that,
For anybody, for
They
both your
park.
business, I think you
They
guys
park.
use the side parking lot on Church.
we have a park, yeah, we use the parking lot in church, in the bar.
but I walked with you, you wanted, just so we could physically say, this is where we, you know, where it needs to go, or this is where it can start.
And the Starbucks truck right now, it parks along the fire hydrant on, like, right near Abbey Park, on the same side as Abbey Park.
That's where I thought it was, because that's
Me
where most of
too,
the,
yeah,
that's where most of the loading and unloading
right here.
happens.
I mean, we would be fine operating on that side, I just didn't know if it were an option because of
No, the fire engine has to, the fire hydrant has to have at least 10 feet,
10 feet, right?
you know, in both directions. And that puts you pretty close because
You got
the
the alley
construction
here.
fence stops right where that front bumper is of that vehicle.
Well, for sure now, when the Starbucks truck is there, definitely block the fire engine. That takes up that entire space.
Right.
In the summer, you said parking lot at that time, is that,
It wouldn't fit, I don't think.
it wouldn't fit?
No,
They're pretty big.
they're too tall.
Okay, so it wouldn't go under the overhang, but there's a parking lot out back that.
Oh, yeah.
Block everything up, anything that they have. They're, when nothing moves for, I don't know how long it takes them to unload it, but we were at Abe and Louie's on Boylston and. They would sit in the middle of Boylston and, you know, they'd come out there at 6, 7 o'clock at night and would just sit there for an hour unloading and nothing to do.
They
They
that
go
would,
on Athens Street all the time too, and just kind of.
that would have to be a conversation we would have to have with Starbucks.
I mean, can you come back a little bit, because I think the driveway for that overhang there, like. Would you be able to? You wouldn't be able to block that.
That's not that's Starbucks driveway, I believe.
Right, yeah, so you said that you could get 4 cars for the valet on that side. I just, if you take up the first 20 feet, would you even get room for 1 car? To valet there?
Maybe, I'd have to look at it again. It's hard when you're looking at it from, you know, even though it's pretty good, but I was like, literally go out there and tape measure, you know, and look at it. I mean, there is the other option of either possibly doing some of it on Adams, which I know is difficult because it's a much busier street on Adams with coming and going.
At that time of the night, though, it's slower.
So again, I just need to be, what we're saying is the distance that has to be unused is 20 feet from this edge here.
That's always been the focal point is where that begins. We've always done it by the face of the curb on the main road.
Face of the
So
curb,
if you
of the
think
main,
of
so it's
where
right here.
where the parking, where the curb line is, you offset that 20 feet down.
So if I do a measure from here.
Again, I defer to, you know, if you see differently as, you know, emergency response. But we've seen
Yeah,
20
right
feet,
by
we
that second
typically measure
box.
20 feet from the curb line down the side street.
Yeah, I'd have to check a code to see what, if it does say anything like that.
Yeah, the uniform vehicle code is very vague. So it's open for interpretation, but that's why like we've typically done by the curb, not necessarily by if you think about how the street curves. There's been interpretation, you take it from the tangent, so where that curve starts to go straight for the side street, from that point going 20 feet back. So you're talking a different, it's like plus or minus 5 feet.
Right.
So that's, and again, in all honesty, we classify a vehicle length as 25 feet. So 20 feet from the edge of the curb, or being able to fit a vehicle in a spot as 25 feet, you know, it's about the same distance. So, you know, I think when you're talking about that second, when you did the 23 feet marina, you came out to that second planter. That's really like, I feel like that's the point where you'd have to leave it open.
Correct. So we could make a vote that we can work out these kinks as long as you're maintaining the distance required and pending you not blocking someone else's driveway or access, which is this area, I think it's right over here, you would be able to occupy whatever that space is left.
Would it sound funny to take one of the trucks and actually make the turn, just so you can physically see it, or you don't?
Well, I think that the hard part is that particular time, that particular driver would make it, and so you never know what's on this curb where if somebody's parked illegal by the handicap spot, or, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's why you do the, basic.
Oh,
20
yeah.
feet, and I would, if we were to do that, I would probably request no parking here to corner. Sound like you see the cities all over the place, you know what I mean, like, that would probably make sense, and then, from here on valet, whatever sign you would use, I think that would be something.
Yeah, I love that point because those boxes will deter people now. If they start
Right.
seeing people pulling in there, even for valet, they won't know that they're just somebody, they're pulling in there, they'll follow suit, and next thing you know, they're jumping in their car for a few minutes and grabbing their Starbucks or whatever, and then they're leaving, but it is blocking.
And that's people parking on both sides there.
Yeah.
We approved putting those planters in for a reason. Does anyone recall that?
Because because people were parking.
Or the loading, maybe was a loading issue back
That would make sense.
And
Because no matter what,
Oh.
yeah, the one ways.
But it was,
We study this when I was at my private firm, we study East Milton Square parking. Those are put in on a recommendation that people for Starbucks would pull down the street, there was no parking. They were blocked at, there were people that were trying to unload on the other side. And you essentially made that a one, maybe you get one car, the width of one car.
It was
down the
tight,
street.
yeah,
So
very tight, yeah.
I guess, just a question in terms of the planters that are out there, is the intent to remove the planters besides the first two, or to leave the planters as they are? It looks like there's five. Oh,
Yeah,
they
I was
removed.
gonna check, I think they just got
I was just
removed.
looking at the street, I've been out there.
We would like, if this is let's say there's 4 planters out there, if we only need 2 for the fire department to get covered. Only to remove, leave 2, remove 2 for us. Just so we have as much, we obviously want as much usable space as possible, but not without getting anybody in trouble.
It's not even just us, it's any truck or.
No, listen, like, it's a tight street,
Yes.
So request a sign, no parking from here to corner. That goes along with that. And the valet request is, again, just wanna get this right, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 4 PM to 11 PM only.
Sundays or no Sundays? Okay.
Thursday to Saturday, 4 PM to 11 PM. And this would be allowed under the condition that we can confirm on the street that, you would be allowing that driveway to not be blocked.
Correct.
So we could confirm.
Are you gonna use the area on the other side of the driveway as well, just from the planters to the driveway?
I'd like to look at it, and I don't know if we have time just to,
I think the other side of the driveway is just regular parking.
Yeah, right now it
And
is, yeah.
Starbucks may even be okay with that getting part of their driveway to be blocked off, especially if we help them with their deliveries. Cause it can block their own driveway. Cause they have another entrance to the
But
driveway.
I don't believe that they own that entrance. I think it's whoever owns that building and there's more than one tenant there, so.
Yeah, but
Right.
we could talk to the property owner, which I think is the Falcones, I believe. Yeah, and there's still an entrance through the second part of the driveway for even the other spaces.
Hardly ever see anybody use it.
Nobody,
anyway.
it's like a weird
Yeah.
cut anyway, like if you go in there, it's not even like
Yeah.
an easy turn.
I've seen people parking there, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I pulled down there today and somebody was actually pulling into the alley. I think they were trying to do a 3-point turn to come out, I think they said no, and I'm like, no, you can't go back this way, you can go that way, and then they just kind of got lost and just, I think, pulled further into the alley, and so I just went by, but. So you have people parking.
Yeah,
right
that's
in
the
there.
first entrance right there,
Right,
and there's a second entrance just a little ways down, and it's the same lot.
And it's a lot easier. to
And
get
the
in other
entrance
way.
to the door into the actual building. It's this, you can enter regardless of which access point in the parking lot that you go to.
And are people parking here now
Yeah,
at night?
yeah.
so they are using these spots.
Yeah.
And valleys would also, if we did have access, allowed to use it, if anybody said, I'm in this building, I need to, our guys are gonna let them use it anyways. You know, there
And
might be a seconds of delay to move something.
at that time of night, those offices are closed. The only thing that's open a little later is the Starbucks. So the property owner, the Falcones, which we have a relationship, it's very likely that during those hours, they probably would allow us to block that piece, especially if we're helping them, their delivery trucks park further up where the other cars are. And just block that.
I just don't know how we would do the sign with
Like the valet sign?
with the valet sign with a curb cut, because the curb cut already says no parking, right? Doesn't the curb cut, would you? Anyways, that might be something you guys work out, but not necessarily would be reflected on the sign.
Right.
I do have one quick question, if somebody is parked in the valet zone, how do we get them out? Is there a tow ticket? How does that work with the town?
We would
don't like to
normally,
do it, but
so. We normally, you ticket, we run the registration plate. Try to contact the person, the owner, it's not always easy. There's a lot of variables to that.
we can bring it up after, I mean.
Yeah, I think that's something that we would.
I deal
look
with it
at
every
doing.
night, so I'm just curious how it's done.
Yeah, I mean, are they blocking it? Yeah, there's a lot of variables. There's not like just like a blanket response to it.
Yeah, how do you do it in other communities?
Yeah.
You have,
So in Boston, BTD runs during the week, but then on the weekends, we have to call Boston Police. Boston Police have to come out. They have to ticket it. They don't like to tow because they have to fill a report, whereas BTD has their own trucks. So there's a bit of a, you know, we have to try to save our calls with, we don't have a ton of them. We have a place in Alston that's a little more residential, so there's an overlap, and we try to do the same thing. We try to call anybody that does park there. But the signs are, you know, I mean, I can send you copies of what the valet signs look like. They're pretty standard. With arrows, just like the red arrow would cover, you know, as long as they're connecting arrows this way, valet sign with 2 arrows, and that sort of covers the driveway.
I'd say typically we would, you know, you'd respond, you'd tow. I mean, if it's blocking access for emergency vehicles, blocking a driveway, if it's a road hazard, reasons like that, you would tow. Being a valet, probably not. But again, it's dependent on the situation. Officers do a good job locating at least the owner who can go, you know, so and so's using my car. They're probably going to be picking up coffee or at one of the restaurants. So they hopefully will be in the area. But that's the typical response, but it's not, you know, I wouldn't say it's not a possibility, but that's not a standard.
And we don't like telling people because if they actually are in the restaurant.
And it's not because of report, it's usually you can find them. It might take a little bit of time, but usually we have luck in finding them because they are, like you said, they're in the restaurant or they're there for 5-10 minutes to pick up a coffee or something.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about is with the Uber drivers, is that they'll have a place where we're working with those guys to pick up and drop off because we know where they're, you know, when they're coming and going. That's one of the issues we're having on the other side is we're trying to keep spaces open for them in the main lot. In the Novara lot so that the Uber drivers, because they're, you know, they're there.
Keep them from double parking.
Yeah, that's a huge complaint that we receive.
Yeah.
Not just from double parking.
Yeah.
That's
Not everywhere, not everywhere, but always reserved so that those guys can, so they can have cars that they're able to pull in. Doesn't mean they're always going to use it. We can't control everybody. If they decide not to use it and park halfway down the street, we don't have any control if we can't tell who's parking where.
Right.
Well, no, unless we try.
We tried.
So I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
So
I just have one clarifying question and then another question. I know I'm not trying to overstep here. You mentioned this would be open to anybody, any of the restaurants that are there, or is this just
Like the valet or?
the valet?
No, the valet is for Abbey Park and the farm.
Okay. So I guess the clarifying question is you're using.
So what what if a resident from another patron from another restaurant wants to use that?
That's not how it's set up right now. No.
Oh, okay, because that was not my understanding, because that is a public roadway. It has to be open for everyone, even if they would be paying a different fee.
And I guess the other question I have that kind of piggybacks on that is if this is paid service, this is a paid service?
Yeah, it would be fun.
Well, they pay us, we don't charge, we're not charging on
The customer.
Like, if you go into Boston, and then maybe that's an option that if another restaurant wanted to use it, if there was a dollar amount. That,
I feel like that'd be more of a question for Ned and Vance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vance,
so you
I
can-
thought, I don't know if you're on the
No,
call, I
yeah.
don't see you, but I thought and it might be my fault, but I thought it would be open for, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Ned, Vance. Do you know which one is Vance?
I would ask Vance to respond to that if you can.
What, Ned?
I would ask Vance to respond. I mean, it seems to me that if someone comes and wants to take advantage of the valet, they'd have to make an arrangement with whoever the valet operator is at that location to come back to Abbey Park to pick up the keys to their car.
Is he
because
muted?
They'd be. Can you hear me?
Can you tell me if he can raise?
Vance, raise your hand.
Oh, there you go. Oh, Ned,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I don't. Do you want to come over here? Maybe you can recognize his number?
Yeah.
the other option is, thought is how many other restaurants are in that immediate area that would utilize it? You said there's. I would say in that there's at the other lot, which is, feet away.
I see you.
We don't seem to have a lot of other sport. I don't know where the numbers would be.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind, but that's his call.
And again.
Vance.
Sorry.
He's muted.
If you go to view, or can you see everybody that's on? You can see it.
They should be able to see on her screen.
Call them?
I can call him.
We do speakerphone on the phone,
Sure.
just to.
Hello.
Hey, you're on speaker. They have a question about the valet being able to be used by other businesses.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but you might wanna have the ability to charge a fee if it starts to become like popular. I don't think there's a lot of call for it for the other restaurants for valet service.
But yeah, so Vance, I'm not sure that, it's just the ability for all public members to use the public right away. If I'm explaining it correctly, and then, whether or not, kind of like when you go to you can explain. If I am using it's being paid for by the restaurant I'm using, and if Mr. Chan, just as an example, or the Dunkin' Donuts doesn't wanna, cover that cost, then it would be on the customer to do so.
We can do that.
This is, we all just want to give this a try, because we think it will help mitigate the traffic problems that we have on those nights. So, if somebody wants to valet their car and goes to Mr. Chan, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's important enough for us to give this a shot, and then if we find that it's, any kind of financial strain for supporting, the whole square, then we can revisit whether or not there'll be a fee involved. But right now, we're offering the free service.
Or guests as opposed to staff.
Right, oh yeah, not
Yeah.
staff.
Oh, you just got out. Almost.
Paying customers.
Square.
And the other question, Marina, is you guys mentioned 4 parking lots, one of them being public. Is that something, if they're if they're, say for instance, they were charging a fee and now they're parking in a public lot, the town, is there any liability there with the town when the town is collecting revenue?
So you mentioned one, I thought they were all private lots, the church lot.
Bassett is the one, right? That's public parking.
I would double check, but I don't think we've actually used, I know it's been available to us. as
No,
an
I'm
option.
just,
Yeah, we have
mentioned
up to this point.
we have 3 private lots,
Wait, Bassett, you're talking about the,
The municipal lot, the
Yeah,
top
the
lot.
top lot is, yeah, that's tons, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
We haven't used it yet, so I mean, if you wanted to put some
It's not
kind
really
of,
like a call for it, we just mentioned it in the event that we could use it, but we don't have to. And we have 3 parking lots right there, one at 480 Adams, 610 Adams, and then 10 Church Street. Which are all private.
so maybe with this one, we just, was there a request to do this prior to the holidays, or? Advance?
That would be ideal.
Yeah. I mean, I just physically, I don't know whether or not I can get those signs up and running. Cause we would have to order them. There's a little bit of a back order, even if we were to all make a decision today.
I can get that.
Probably some temporary signs, but John has some valet homes and things like that we could use to,
Are they legally?
That's a great question, I don't know.
We currently do, again, you know, we gave Louis as an example, there's another restaurant going in, so Eversource, the electric, they've taken over our zone, so we have to use Fairfield. We have temporary, I assume the town uses like temporary parking or no parking signs.
I would rather go with that because if we do this as a temporary and see how it works, I would rather do that than spend the money to install.
It's fine with us, and I think it's, we have enough leeway with keeping the signs, the cars, it's such a transient location. We're not really worried about neighbors parking or residents parking on those spots, because they're time spots, right? Technically, the neighborhood gets those free spots.
There are time spots over there.
A lot.
Where?
I think
You're
that
talking
is
about-
those spots that we're talking about
Yeah.
on Franklin.
Are they 2 hours? I don't think, you know.
They're 2 hours.
Adams and Bastion.
So so we can come up with either something that works for the town, we can just use cones that we have like a cover that we get laminated, the signs, you know, we can put it something from the town that, you know, it's a temporary permit or however you refer to it as.
I would suggest we use it through the engineering department. We have occupied the right of way, kind of like when people get pods.
Yes,
Okay, so that would be temporary. We can figure out, so we can do that through the temporary engineering permits.
Would that be enforceable? But
It is because it's like construction.
We
Talked about that. Yeah, it's kind of like when we have temporary construction, like a water main job. It is filled out. We can figure out a time period. We can do that through the engineering department. The traffic commission can monitor it, and if it becomes a successful thing that we want to do it, you know, for maybe it's something that we just do it during some holiday seasons.
The cold months are
right? And it would also be dependent upon, I'm also worried about snow and ice. And those things we can get all hatched out. You would maintain that spot, whatever necessary. So maybe the best form, if you're okay with that being temporary, is we hatch out the details through the engineering permitting mechanism. Once it becomes something we want to do it for, you know, a period, then it comes to this and we get those signs erected.
Do you know how long those temporary ones usually take? Do we have to wait for them before we start?
You have those signs.
so we have the cones, the signs, it's just, you tell us what format or, you know.
We can work in the engineering realm. It wouldn't take long, in about a week and a half, depending on, maybe we'll do a site meeting. Maybe we have to I haven't looked at it. we have to unhatch the side, is there a yellow hatch on the roadway? Like a fire lane?
Yellow line in the road, the hash marks in the road.
Vance,
See them in there.
is there a yellow hatch mark on the road?
I don't think so.
You also gotta go to the select board and have them approve this, right?
Not if it's temporary. Kind of like a pod, like if you're a resident, you wanna park a pod in front of your road for a while. You do it through the engineering department. Same as a water main construction project, we're doing a water main construction on Windsor Road. No parking on Windsor Road for that period of time. It's through the engineering permitting realm, it's temporary, it's not something. Once it becomes definitive, then it's the select board, but if it.
Can we do, is it 3 months we're thinking for a temporary? What's temporary is relative, till the spring temporary, or how would you want this?
The temporary, we have had a water main jobs that last 6 months.
Okay.
So we can do it for a period of time. I'm a bit concerned about snow and ice, but we will hatch that out separately.
We can, as amenable as we used to be, the guys we'll probably have it cleared out anyways, because they're standing there, they're gonna do something.
We have a maintenance crew.
We'll have at least that corner for the most part, stopping short of, mountains of snow that get dropped there that they can't actually take out. So they will maintain that, what's our valet zone, but if the plow trucks are coming down while the valets are on, they'll just move whatever's there. The signage that's there, cars that are there, and we'll let them come through. So I assume if it's that bad weather-wise, we won't have a ton of cars to begin with. Or we don't do it at all, if there's a really bad storm.
Yeah.
And we just go, we just.
Usually if there's a bad storm, our business is slower, so we wouldn't even want the cost of like having them there.
The extra guys on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, everything would be hatched out as a special condition, and then that could be a good lessons learned and trial period for us to bring it back to the traffic commission and provide us a real life experience. And it would be a no more than 6 months probably trial period, which is, we can revisit that.
That sounds good.
Which works for us.
Does that sound okay with everyone?
Yeah.
And I can leave my phone number as like a public, if somebody has a problem with the valet. I assume they're calling the police department.
Yeah,
point of
that'd be
contact,
great.
They can get me. right
Yeah,
away.
we just had yeah, that'd be great to have somebody, thank you.
You want to think about it?
No, we just had it, so that, it's already been addressed, but.
For valet?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Novara.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But again, I didn't know to call, so we had the parking enforcement, and also he was down there and he just ran into some, even didn't run into, we went and spoke with maybe it was you, probably you, yeah.
Yes, anyway.
But it was fixed, it was, things happen.
Yeah.
But it'd be great to have that contact, thank you.
So, Vance and Ed have my email, we'll talk, we'll get that permit, there's a few other details that we need to discuss, and then we'll do a temporary, and then I can present that language over to the traffic commissioner at our next meeting.
We like to use for signage, we call them the tall skinnies, they look like totem, they're just a black plastic with a removable base, they're like a weeble wobble, they don't blow over in the wind, and if they do, they don't blow. The frames are great, but.
If you can send pictures along with the
Absolutely.
permit, so it'll be a permit, I'll send you to it's a portal. You upload pictures, upload the hours, we'll talk about snow and ice responsibility. We'll talk about maybe having an on-site meeting with our group, making sure that, emergency vehicles are, able to get through. We'll get emergency contact information from you guys in case someone needs to get a hold of someone very quickly. But in that sense, I'm also thinking that we would probably go to Abbey Park and ask for you guys to help us figure out who's out there, right? So little things like that, but very well taken. And then we will probably need to keep it to the private lots for now until we look at the legality of using a public space.
I mean, if we have an issue with not, we're not changing the volume of some, and this other massive restaurant that's coming on board. We kind of already know what's going on, the volume that we have enough parking and it's close enough for us that we actually prefer to keep it in our own little spot as opposed to shared. We find, we have a location, Fogo de Chao, in Copley, and the Copley garage that we use, there's 6 or 7 stories, and we always go up to the floor 6. There's nobody uses floor 6, so we don't have to deal with other cars being, we kind of like having non-public, if we can, if we can do it, so. And if we are starting to use it or need it, we can come back.
Sounds good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Ned, shoot me an email, we'll talk, okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you
for your
all,
time.
bye-bye.
Do you want, Marina, do you want for the record names, full names and addresses?
Did you guys sign in?
We signed it, yes.
Yes, Ned, please,
Just,
no need.
they all have it.
Ned, could you give me yours and Vance's, please?
Sure. Ned Corcoran, attorney, address is 26 High Street, Milton.
Thank you.
And Vance Welch, owner of Abbey Park. I think he lives in Quincy.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
All right, I know you guys are here for an item, which item are you here for?
The resident parking on Elliott Street.
So we'll push you up. Are you both here for that?
No, I'm just here, well, number 10 is interesting to me, so.
Okay, come on up, please. Thank you for waiting so patiently.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it. So this item is number 9, Elliott Street resident request. So.
Yeah,
please.
Thanks for everyone's time today. My name is Alex Marini and I live on 76 Elliott Street. So I'd like to propose a request for resident permit parking for the residents located at 62, 64, 74, 76, and 80. And whoever else may be affected by this issue. Either that or additional traffic enforcement on nights and weekends. So right now for residents of Elliott Street, we get employee permits, which are shared with employees of Steel and Rye, the other businesses on Elliott Street, the businesses on Central Ave. So right now, when we go to park, we have to look for permit parking, but we're sharing that with all of these other businesses. Steel and Rye has anywhere between 30 to 40 people working per shift. Wait staff, bar staff, kitchen staff, bakery, front end. So this does not leave many spots for us to park in. There is traffic enforcement, but it's done during the day and those are not the busy hours of Steel and Rye. So there's a major issue from like 4 to 10 PM. And then the weekend Steel and Rye is jam-packed all hours of the day. So at this point, we're either parking, like sometimes I have to park up on Morton, risk getting towed because there's no parking. So then I have to go back up and move my car at 10, 11 PM back on Elliott Street. The other issue is that there's no permit parking and I'm parking in 2-hour lots. I'm getting ticketed unless I go out and move my car. I work from home. I cannot play musical cars during the day. So that's also an issue. There is also another market going in at 2 Elliott Street, the Pence Market. So that is also gonna jam up parking on Elliott Street. So, I mean, even if we can't have permit parking, at the very least, if we could be separate than employee parking, so that way when we are in the 2-hour spots, we're not getting ticketed. Like if traffic enforcement knows that we're residents and they're not ticketing us if we're in a 2-hour spot, I think even that would be helpful. My car has been hit twice. My brand new car that I just bought has been hit, and my other car was hit. Probably from people at Steel and Rye, probably drinking. If there was resident parking, I'd probably be able to figure out who hit me, or that probably wouldn't even happened. So there's a lot of stuff going on that street, but I think like the biggest thing is either more enforcement or some way to give us like a couple spots where we can park in, at any given time of day. I don't expect to be able to park directly in front of my house, but I do expect to be able to park somewhere on the street that I live on, no matter what time of day that I'm coming and going. So, I think this, I don't know what's going on in East Milton Square with the new condos that are going in apartments, but my guess is this is gonna be an issue over there as well at some point. Where if there's no garage for those people to park in, they're gonna need to park somewhere. And if they're being bunched in with employees, that's not really fair. I am not an employee of Milton. I live in the town of Milton, so I do think there, may need to be some kind of specification, even signs maybe would help. Like in Dorchester, in Southie, it says, like, they'll put signs up, it says not for steal and ride, or something like that. Just so people are more aware, because people are going over to steal and ride, they're there for 4 hours, 6 hours. Coffee break, the other businesses, so it's been a real challenge for us to try and find places to park. And Steel and Rye has been doing a lot of functions too, so during those times, there is not a single spot to park in on Elliott Street, and those usually start at like 5 o'clock, and then people empty out at like 11 p.m. So again, going back out and moving my car.
Are you guys in the houses that are up on the hill that have no driveways?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just those,
They're like
those
those
three.
four,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's only a small amount of us that would need kind of help with this, but it is a challenge. The people above in the condo above us have young kids. So it is a challenge, and it hasn't gotten any better. I was thinking summer would be worse, but it seems like winter is a little bit worse. And then when you throw like the snow and ice in the mix, that's less spots because there's no parking ban on that street. So the plows will plow the snow and ice, and there goes another spot for us. So that is my spiel. I appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you. Did you sign in?
No.
Thank you.
Alex, with the enforcement you're talking about, we're talking parking, like the parking enforcement. Piece of it, like over 2 hour spots and stuff.
Yeah.
Like from like that 4 to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
That's where it's okay. I didn't know if that. All right,
Yeah, because he's there during the day.
Jerry's
him here and there.
Yeah.
But that's not helping us because that's not the busy.
Is it every like?
I don't see him every day.
Yeah, no, he's not.
But-
Yeah, he during the daytime he'll make his like Elliott Streets. He's always on Elliott.
Yeah.
But that you're right. That's during the daytime.
Yeah.
Is it heavier on like Thursday? That's Friday.
Yeah.
Is it, or is it like Monday, Tuesday, every night?
Thursday to Sunday, and then now they've been doing functions on Monday nights, because Steel and Rice closed Monday nights, but they open it up for
They're not
functions.
functions.
So the entire Elliott Street is
Okay.
full. It even goes down to Central at that, on those nights.
It's gonna get a lot worse when they open up in place too.
Right, and then
Gym parking.
Muscle and Flow uses Elliott Street,
Yeah.
and then he's opening that market.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be really tight for us.
That's
come
helpful.
that time too.
Is the parking lot that's they put in for the condos, the new condos down there, is that always full? I never walk up there to see how busy it is, because was there some kind of arrangement you guys could make with them?
They, I haven't spoke to any of them. They
You have to
don't,
walk up around, but.
yeah, right, but at least it's a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't expect to be able to park directly in front of my house, but I should be able to park on the street
Yeah.
somewhere. And not have to go back out like at 11 o'clock. I should be in bed by then to go move my car. Or play musical cars during the day to avoid a ticket, which is what I have been doing. So.
I think we had the same conversation about Morton Street, right? About parking on Morton.
I don't think it's related to lack of parking.
No.
I think people were parking there for stealing
Yeah.
by them, and yeah, people were getting upset. So.
I'm not really sure where to go for
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? And I'd have to take a better look at it.
Yeah, I
I
know,
don't know
I
if
know
there's any
very
way
well, I
we
walk
can-
by there every day, so it's like, it's tough. And they've expanded their business to the morning now, when they originally were in there, they were just gonna be open at night. Not even for lunch, and that's when they decided to put all that for parking for Steel and Rye, because when they gave them the permits, I remember them going through it. They didn't have enough parking for a restaurant there, and they said, well, they can park on the street. But that was thinking it would be in a shorter window, but now that it's, 7 o'clock in the morning, it's busy down there. But when, as soon as they open up, it's really
Yeah,
busy.
even later, sometimes earlier than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people that are there in the morning and the afternoon, they're in and out. But it's the people going in for dinner and then the weekends where they're there for, 3 or 4 hours.
Is there any way that we can talk to about having the Steel and Ride do something similar to what Abbey Park does, where they arrange for their employment parking at a lot nearby?
Elsewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I don't know where you.
I don't know what it is. I don't know either, but
I mean, it'd
Um,
have to be across
there's,
across the river somewhere.
No, there is someone was saying that there might be some, again, but then it would alleviate a little bit of the spots that she's using.
You could go further down on Elliott or
And
or Central.
And maybe we should take a look at the use, because if they're expanding their use and now there are functions, was that really how the authorization and use of the
I don't know if
space had been?
permits safe and do.
Yeah,
And I don't know if anybody did a traffic study to put the new restaurant, or whatever you want to call it, down across from Muscle and Flow. He got the permits to do that, and I don't know if anybody did a traffic.
one restaurant.
It's where the bank was on the corner, right across from the gym.
Are you talking about the market going?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a restaurant. They call it a market, but it's a
Yeah,
restaurant.
it's a really just a restaurant there.
Yeah, they're putting tables in and they're redoing that, and I don't know where they're gonna park for that, because there's no place to park there now. I mean, you get High Street has a couple spots, but that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, there's public transportation nearby in that whole area, right?
Yeah, but nobody.
They have
Um,
spots,
We,
man.
yeah, I think we should probably talk, I wish Liz was here, the planning department, look at do you have any ideas? You're looking at me like,
Oh, no, I'm just.
yeah.
I
And
was just,
maybe alleviate some of that parking from if they could
Yeah, from the
negotiate
employees.
employees, a parking lot.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Mostly the employees parking up on the alley there?
Yeah,
Go where?
because they have the resident, excuse me,
Oh,
they have the
stickers.
permit,
Yeah.
but we're given the same.
I know, I was gonna
but
say.
they take up all the, I think it's majority.
How many spots you guys looking for? Like, is it 4 cars or? how many?
There's
This is the first street to get to.
10 cars total between the three,
Okay.
Do you want
the 3 units, excuse me, the 3 houses.
Are they multifamily houses?
Yes, the 62, 64, 74, 76, and then I believe 80 is like three units.
Yeah. And none of them have driveways. So one has a little garage or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think he can fit.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Big thing. I can.
There is no resident parking space anywhere else, only anywhere in town.
Right.
So opening this opens up for a whole different townwide, and I'm not sure if there's an appetite. Because there's a whole process behind all these special permits.
Yeah.
There's a processing, it's a whole, now folks will start taking it. As for the parking ban, DPW can be more diligent at announcing that it will affect you as well when there is enough snow and we want to clear. We will, maybe not during the storm, but afterwards clear it.
Yeah.
And we do that by asking folks not to park on that side, because we're going to clear this one side, and then we ask them not to park on another side, clear another side. So, but this is not a problem unique to Milton. If my suggestion right now is, let's try to alleviate, talk to the restaurants. I'll talk to town administrator and see if he can help us open up that discussion and see and have to take a better look, because it looks like the use and expansion of that is a little greater.
Because there's parking if you go up Central, go towards the pond, towards Turner's, there's a bunch of spots there on the side of the street. You have to walk, quarter mile, the help would have to walk a little bit. But there's nobody that usually parks that far up beyond getting up to where a school goes down. So there's definitely there's spots up there.
Yeah.
And you guys would be, you live there, you can't.
But even if they just, if Dan just asked
Yeah.
from Steel and Ride, just asked his employees to, park on Central or not, not
Sure.
everybody on Elliott Street, like that would, I feel like even that would be helpful.
Is that Hendry's lot being used? Behind the new building there? Isn't it public park right behind the Hendry's?
There's a couple spots in the top, the upper lot, I believe.
It doesn't seem crowded,
No.
I walk by there, but I don't know.
Push the Steel and Ride people down that way.
But that's a start.
So
We can work together and get more information.
Yeah, yeah.
With it's well lit, and everything with the nice
Keep the
lighting.
line of communication open. This would be, I think this is a good start.
Yeah.
Reaching out to them, seeing if we can do something and then.
And we'll get back to you if we can push more of their employee parking somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Definitely.
Because we've been having on Morgan Street too, trying to eliminate parking there, so,
So now sounds like no.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We'll be in touch.
Okay,
All right.
thanks so much.
All right, thank you for your patience.
Folks, we do have a few more items and I do have to go,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to do that. So do you guys wanna keep going? I'll see if I can help my mom
I was
and
gonna
then
say,
come back.
if, I don't know what the procedure typically is, but if you have to go. We'll just
You guys
kind of
going?
put up and just,
No, I don't think we can go without you.
that's
You're
why,
the chair,
I
yeah.
didn't think that's
Yeah.
why.
Oh,
I
okay.
just, but I don't wanna.
How do we?
Do you want to, I mean, what do we have missed? So we have,
Just the future commission meeting comments, I think. The
mean,
gentleman.
yeah,
No,
the-
Plymouth Grafton request for
Okay.
traffic calming,
Did the-
continued reservation request
Do
for
we have
traffic calming
anybody
request.
to speak
There,
on?
there's three more people on the, participants online,
Yeah, are they to speak on any of those agenda items?
probably.
Probably, yeah. Okay.
Could we reschedule the continuation of this meeting next week, this same Wednesday, and we do it online?
I'd be fine with that. I mean, if.
I like,
Yeah.
if it's 5, sure, I have something later in the evening, but 5 to 7 or 5, or even earlier during the day.
I just-
On Wednesdays.
Yeah, maybe
I
we
just
can
don't
do a
want to
day, we
delay
can do a day meeting online
Yeah,
and continue, so I really apologize, it's just trying to be a good daughter.
I know, yeah. Well, it's an emergency, so
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Yeah.
If it's all right
Um,
with me.
As for the public comment policy for future commission meeting, my request here, this is an item added by me, this is item number 10, is, it doesn't seem like this traffic commission has a general policy to allow for traffic, for public comment. And, the idea was to allow for that in the beginning of the meeting.
Like they
We
do
can
at the-
discuss
like they
that,
do at the
yeah,
select
yeah,
board,
that we
I
can
think.
select.
So
we
what,
can
just
talk about
opening
that.
it to public comment?
Like a 5 minute, like they do it at the select.
they have like a
board,
3 minute,
5 minute, yeah,
whatever
we
it
can
is,
talk,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can talk about it at the next meeting.
yeah, just because you gotta.
So I'll reschedule this meeting, yes, go ahead.
Could I have like 30 seconds on that number 10 to speak?
It hasn't been set up, yeah. We'll do a continuation of this, at another meeting, because right now we don't have a public comment section.
Exactly, and weeks ago, I sent to you, well, I'm named Tom Darden.
Come on in.
Yeah, come on up.
A request with respect to this, public comment that, all I would like to do is to ask that there be consideration by the commission of, the Squantum Street, Adams Street intersection, matter. And at best, it would include a special session, say at the Council on Aging for the affected residents. In fact, we put an ad in multiple times and otherwise to get people there to it. But it's an extraordinarily important matter. And in the memo, if you did receive it, you'd see the, when it's.
Yes, we got it today.
Yeah, so they,
I think it said we're gonna be on this agenda, but it goes to the
Agenda,
next one. so-
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Time?
We can add that as an agenda item for the next time, we can discuss that specifically. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Thank you. We, right, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Jack, what's going on with my intersection at the library? My favorite intersection.
Meeting adjourned?
Yeah, meeting, yeah. I'll make a motion.
It's miscoordinating.
Yeah, you get few.
It's happening.
So then next Wednesday.
I'll set up a meeting for next week for those.
Yeah, we'll finish this up
Oh,
to do that. Okay.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're out on. Hey, Marina, when